Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another live stream from Card and Table Games. My name is Mark. As you can see, I am alone for the evening, and all my friends and co-hosts sadly have come down with air-casing illnesses for the evening. They're not dying; they're just sick and out of action for the evening. So instead, you're going to have me and my wonderful roommate here. And we're going to do a very simplistic version of what we intended to do last week, but with a little bit of a twist, as I can't do everything that I actually kind of wanted to do, but I can do my best. And I really hope you enjoyed the content tonight, because we're going to try to make it as engaging as possible, and hopefully we're going to have a lot of back and forth this evening. And so I'd like to introduce my evening's co-host, my roommate, Kryn, who is going to help me figure out all these wonderful new roommates, new FAQs, and we're going to talk about them. So right now, we're actually going to take a deep dive into the Warhammer 40,000 rulebook for the new 8th edition, and we're going on the official update, which happened earlier last week with version 1.3, and we're going to go through about it, and we hope you enjoy. So, without further ado, Kryn, let's go to page 177 and talk about what happened in that change for moving, it says.
Flying one. We talked about this one earlier, and that's about it. I don't know much about 40K, so...
Well, here, let me fill you in. Why don't you read off the old rule, and we'll go from there. How's that sound?
Okay. If the data sheet for a model says it can fly, it can move across models and terrain as if they were not there.
Exactly. That was in the official 8th edition rulebook that came out with 8th edition as it was. However, in the new era, in the new change, it says, change the second paragraph to read, if the data sheet for a model says it can fly, then during the movement phase, it can move across models and terrain as if they were not there. So the implication for that being is that the old rules said that it could just fly. This one actually gives you a chance to move it also during the movement phase, and it didn't clarify, I think, that it was in the movement phase in the original rule is what they're probably getting at, and they're just making that a whole lot more clear. Though, I mean, for most elder players, a lot of them got it, but this is probably for the newer players who are new to the edition or just new to 40K in general. Now let's hop down to the next page and talk about rerolls for page 178. And go ahead and read the rerolls rule.
Some rules allow you to reroll a dice roll, which means you get to roll some or all of the dice again. You can never reroll a dice more than once, and rerolls happen before modifiers, if any, are applied. Bum, bum, bum.
Exactly, and that was in the official rulebook. And though it hasn't, and luckily though it hasn't really changed, but I'll still read off what the 1.3 edition says for the FAQ. Some rules allow you to reroll a dice roll, which means that you get to roll some or all dice again. If a rule allows you to reroll a result which is made by adding several dice together, i.e. 2d6, 3d6, etc., then unless otherwise stated, you must roll all those dice again. You can never reroll a dice more than once, and rerolls happen before modifiers, if any, are applied.
So what I'm trying to get here is that it's saying that you have to reroll all the dice if it's a multiple dice roll.
Precisely.
Not just the one dice that made your roll crappy in the first place.
Precisely.
Okay.
Because a lot of players also kind of like, a lot of house rules, especially, like, allow you to, like, just reroll your failed.
Oh, yeah, because one says you get to roll some. They have the word some in this one.
Yep, exactly.
Somewhere.
Right, exactly. And that's a big... And little words like that can make a big difference in how rules are played and mentioned in 40K. Now, let's go to 179, and let's go to choose ranged weapons.
Which paragraph?
It says this is a change that's happening in the first sentence of the first paragraph. In the last sentence of the first paragraph, my apologies.
Last sentence.
So you can go ahead
For
and read.
the purpose of determining visibility, a model can see through models in its own unit. Means it can see through that big guy standing in front.
Right. And this is new to the FAQ, and it says, change the last sentence of the first paragraph to read, in either case, at the same time that you choose targets for the shooting unit's attacks, you must declare how you will split the shooting unit's shots. Then resolve all the shots one against one target before moving on to the next.
I think I read the wrong paragraph.
I think you did too.
I'm sorry. Let me try that again.
Hold on. Which
we have choose targets because they both were choose. That's why. They both said choose.
Choose ranged weapons. This one.
Well, I'm looking at all the wrong cards. Okay.
Our apologies. She read the wrong paragraph.
I'm new to the rule book.
I just gave it to her about a half hour ago, so
I didn't get this far reading in the rule book before we started. I got the psych face, and that's about it.
Right.
Okay. In either case, declare how you will split the shooting unit's shots before any dice are rolled, and resolve all the shots again, one target before moving on to the next. I'm lost.
I'm not sure how that changes because in almost in my opinion, it pretty much says the same thing unless I'm reading that wrong.
Where we're looking,
because it says in either case you're getting way too close to the mic. Right. No, exactly. You're reading it. I don't know what's different except for maybe a couple words. I'm kind of lost myself. In either case, at the same time that you choose targets for the shooting unit's attacks, you must declare how you will split the shooting unit's shots. Then resolve all shots against one target before moving on to the next. Is that not the exact same thing?
Okay, please. Okay, in case.
Go to like the last full column.
I am. In either case, declare how you will split the shooting unit shots before any dice are rolled and resolve all the shots against one target before moving on to the next.
That's almost well, you must declare. Oh, it doesn't say declare in there. That's the big difference. You must declare how you.
They should underline that so people understand exactly what the heck they're changing. Like, oh, we changed this sentence by adding one word.
Well, that thing is that declare is a really big deal. And here's why. Because if I don't declare it, then people aren't going to look at it as a formal order. People are just going to be like...
and on this format, they should like underline the word declare so we actually know what is getting changed or why they made these. I know they're highlighting what they changed, but if they don't specify like where this...
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's skip ahead to page 182, and let's talk about choose targets.
Okay, choose targets.
Go ahead and read
there.
Yeah, just oh my god, that's a huge... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, read it.
Once you have chosen an eligible unit, select one or more enemies within 12 inches of them as the targets of the charge. Each target unit can then attempt to fire Overwatch.
Try that one.
Oh my gosh. They have things literally labeled the same.
That is a problem with DW.
On the same page.
Yes, that is an issue.
One is in the chart. I read the one for in the charge phase. We're apparently looking at the fight phase.
Yes, that is... Yeah, that's something I only found I made clear just by reading, like it said second paragraph, and I was like, that's a column, that doesn't have a second paragraph. So anyway, why don't you read the second paragraph of that, of choose targets for the fight phase?
All right, I'm feeling really stupid here.
No, you're not feeling stupid, it's okay. Everyone can get confused. It's a very large book.
First, you must pick the target unit or units for the attacks. To target it, I'm reading the second column, aren't I? First or second column. Yeah, once again, sorry. If a model can make more than one close combat attack, see, right, it can split them between eligible target units, as you wish. Similarly, if a unit contains more than one model, each can target a different enemy unit. In either case, declare how you will split the unit's close combat attacks before any dice are rolled, and resolve all attacks against one target before moving on to the next. Are they just going to add declare into the... Oh, wait, no, it already has declare.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's what's different is go back to that in either case from the book, and we'll start off from there, because that's exactly where it starts off in the new FAQ. It says, in either case, at the same time that you choose targets for the unit's close combat attacks, you must declare how you will split the unit's close combat attacks. Then resolve all attacks against one target before moving on to the next.
Well, that is definitely worded much differently.
It is. And that can mean a lot of difference. Basically, in the new FAQ, you not only have to choose your targets, but you have to, telling your opponent what units you're going to attack is fine. Like, what units are going to attack is fine. But what you also have to do is declare, the bolter on the side of my Lehman-Russ tank will attack that squad of infantry. And then its big gun, it's, let's say in this case, a Punisher Gatling gun, will go after a squad of Space Marines. And then the other bolter on the other side will also go after the Space Marines. And then the front gun, the las cannon in this case, will go off also against the squad of Space Marines. So you have one gun focused on infantry, and you have three guns focused on
the other guys.
Exactly. And that's the basic concept of choosing targets. And you must declare that, and you must resolve them, but you cannot, this gun goes there, and then, you can, go, your guns repeat. It must be all guns that you declared for that unit to be fired before this unit. So even if it's slightly out of order in your head, it has to be in the order of this unit first, all the weapons you're going to shoot against them, then that unit next, all the weapons you're going to shoot against them. That's it in a pie case.
So basically you have to only attack one guy at a time instead of I'm going to attack you, go back to you, and then go back to you again.
Right, exactly. So if you had a weapon like the Lehman-Russ tank, and you wanted to fire two of the two front weapons on an enemy unit, that's fine. You have to declare that, which it's easily done. I declare that this will happen. However, you still have the other two weapons that you can fire, and you can choose two completely different units as long as they're within range.
But the people you declare first, you have to just attack. I think it means it doesn't want you jumping from unit to unit.
Right, exactly. And I think it's that same thing. It's very simple once you bring it down to
layman's terms.
Yeah, layman's terms, right. Right. They add a lot of mumbo jumbo to make it very clear what they're trying to say, but it's really simple to follow once you figure it out. Now we're going to make a large jump in page numbers to page 229.
I'm flipping the page.
And this is actually going to be a unit profile for
200 and what?
229. And we're going to be talking about the Witch Hunter.
Almost there.
This is her first time ever actually stepping into the book. So I am actually very proud of how well she's actually taking all of this, because I'm just super
not
shocked.
all these pages are labeled. Found Witch Hunter.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. All right, so in its profile, it says, score 1 victory point if at least one enemy psyker unit was destroyed during this turn.
Do they just throw in word? Okay. Read that again, please.
All right. So there will be a bunch of rules text for Witch Hunter. It says in the new FAQ for 229-62 Witch Hunter, change the rules text to score 1 victory point if at least one enemy psyker unit was destroyed during this turn.
Okay, they added the word unit. That's all they did.
Okay. I can see why that.
Yep. Score 1 victory point if at least one psyker was destroyed during this turn.
Mm.
So it's like, I killed the one psyker. I get this.
I can see why they did that.
I think a unit is different from one psyker.
Yeah, well, depending on the psyker. If it's a dreadnought, then it's so there are dreadnoughts that are librarians, which are considered psychers for Space Marines. They are their own unit. They can be attached to, I mean, they can be attached, but they have no one else together with them. So they are their own unit. But if you get like my guys here, they come in a group of 3. You would have to kill all 3 of them. And I'm actually looking at the Wendarian Psychers for the Imperial Guard right now. You would have to kill all 3 of the Wendarian Psychers to get a victory point. That's the difference. But instead, it used to be if you killed 1 of my Psychers, you would get a victory point. But that is the difference.
Gotta kill all 3. I don't even know what a victory point is. We can go into that later.
Yes, we can. There's a lot she doesn't know about the rules, so that's okay.
I'm just here to hold the book and read them, and ask all the simple-minded questions, and maybe comic relief, maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
So here we're getting into some general questions, and for some odd reason they changed these questions and questions and answers. I'm not sure why. Maybe some updates can't. It's probably because of the new updates. But here's one of the first general questions. This doesn't rely heavily on the book. It says, question: can I ever skip a phase or part of a phase? For example, if my army contains no psychers, can I skip my psychic phase? Answer: no, you must play out all your phases in a turn and all parts of each phase. In the example you give, your opponent may have rules or stratagems that are used in your psychic phase, and so you cannot skip it. And basically what that's amounting to is a player was asking, since he himself or she has no psychers, that they're allowed to skip their psychic phase. Where I used to play, it really depended. There were some players who were like, yeah, I don't really care because we didn't bring psychers and no one really cared. Or like, can I skip my psychic phase because no one was like, yeah, sure, I don't got a counter or whatever. However, there have been games where I have not been able to skip the psychic phase myself because my enemy players have had like counters to my psychers. So that is definitely a big game. Psychic phases are basically, they're like wizards for 40k. Psychers are basically wizards for 40k, and they can change. I think there are a couple of armies. I think there's one army, the Zinch, and they're pretty much a bunch of psychers, and they have like a lot of psychic stuff. But it's a really good game changer to have psychers. So do not downplay psychers as a meaningless body. They are very useful in this game if you play them correctly. And there are stratagems, which are like things to use against your opponent or that give you buffs. And we can go into that at a later date if you like. Another question from the new FAQ is, if a unit of strength characteristics of blank basically has no characteristic in a certain field. So a quick inbound by myself before I continue on the question. There are such things as character profiles, and how these character profiles work is that they come in like a slot of like 6 or 7 slots, and sometimes these slots are blank, and it means it's a dash, and that means there's like a little chart most of the time, or there's no characteristic at all, or it has a negative effect. It really just depends. But it'll explain in the book, and it's actually very clear if you read the book itself. But let's go on for the rest of the question. But I need to use so if a unit of a strength characteristic of blank, or of dash, but I need to use that characteristic to resolve a rule, i.e. shooting web pistols or Webbers, the depth grip stratagem, etc., what value should I use? And here's the answer from GW. Substitute the unit's toughness characteristic for its strength characteristic for the purposes of resolving such rules. So if you ever play GW or 40K and you ever come across something like that, the official answer from GW is to substitute your toughness for its strength. And then that will give you that characteristic. And then you can resolve everything from there. It's a very simple change, but it can change a lot of things depending on the unit. And there seems to be a lot of these Q&As, and that seems to make up almost the majority of what's left for new rules updates from this section of the 40K rulebook. So we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to give you this book right here.
Ooh, what's this?
This is the Astra Militarum Codex. And we're going to actually look up the Edera for Astra Militarum. If you don't know, Astra Militarum is Imperial Guard. And these guys are my personal army. I love them to death. And we're going to look up some of their new rules that weren't in the rulebook. Oh, and we have a few. Go to page 94.
94.
Now we're talking about war gear options for Militarium Tempest Scions.
Once again, they decided not to label every page.
And that is always a part of every book. I'm not even joking. Every single Warhammer book has this issue.
That's like the worst artistic thing ever.
I agree.
Okay.
So you're looking at the war gear options. So while she's looking at the book, and if you're watching this in the future, and you have the 40K Codex Astra Militarum 8th edition book, and you're happening to listening to this, you can go ahead and pop along with us.
I can't tell which edition of the book you have.
I can tell, and that's what matters.
But how are they supposed to tell?
Oh my God! How do you tell? There should be a thing in
it
these.
Says it was made in 2017.
Yep. As all books have. There should be something that says it's. Well, this was made in 2013, if that makes you feel. Or no. Hold on. Yeah, this was made in 2013, if that makes you feel old. Though I didn't get it until 2015. Right at the tail end of Codex Era 7. But, all right, going back to the topic. The Military Tempest Scions war gear options. Change the first bullet point to read, one Tempest Scion may either replace its hot shot las gun with a hot shot las pistol and a Voxcaster, or a hot shot las, or take a hot shot las pistol and a Voxcaster in addition to their hot shot las gun. That is literally
everything after that or has been added.
Really?
Yeah, it says one Tempest Scion may replace their hot shot las gun with a hot shot las pistol and a vortex caster.
Voxcaster.
I'm not good with new words. And then that's it. And then it's like forever type models.
Or
Tempest.
Does it say or take?
No, there is no or.
That is the new rule. That is the newness. Or take a hot shot las pistol and a Voxcaster in addition to their hot shot las gun.
That would definitely make a change, I would say.
Yes, it would. I don't play. I have 2 squads of Scions, but I do not play them enough to really appreciate their changes like that. But if you're a veteran out there of Military Tempest Scions, or you come across them and you see this change, let me know, because I don't play them enough anymore to really kind of understand how significant that is, but it probably is very, very significant. I think. All right, so those are just more infantry profiles. You want to do another profile?
Oh, give me 1 second. Cake.
Oh, cake. All right, awesome. All right, everyone. So we're going to go to page 102. And we're going to look at where... Oh, she's right. I really don't like this. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Never mind. We're clean. All right, guys. We're going to go on to Ogren Bodyguard Slab Shield. Now, the Ogren Bodyguard, think of them like a giant ogre man. But, like, think of a human the size of an ogre. And that's pretty much an Ogren. And they carry these really big guns. And they're really cool. Anyway, so this slab shield ability, it says in the book, add 2 to any save rolls for a model equipped with a slab shield. However, in the new FAQ, it says change this ability to read, add 2 to armor saving throws for a model equipped with a slab shield. Invulnerable saving throws are not affected. Basically an invulp save. Which are ineffective at all in general, but it is they do add that, which really the only difference is they're adding the invulb save throws are not effective. Oh my gosh. Oh, she brought up cake. How glorious.
It's skull-shaped
cakes.
Yes, for
she has brought us skull-shaped cakes with glory. Here is your here's the book back. And we just went over the Ogrins.
Okay.
So
we will pronounce that wrong.
So we will. You would have announced it wrong.
Yeah. That looks like Ogrins to me.
Ogrins. Yeah, they're said weird. Now I want you to jump over to page 134, where we talk about jury rigging.
Jury rigging? That sounds like some sort of legal process.
It's part of a stratagem. So while she's looking that up, a quick note on stratagems. They are for your army for buffs, mostly. They can affect combat and affect the way you play your game. I'm not sure if there's a limit on stratagems, and if there are, someone please let me know down in the comment section down below. But they can definitely change the way you and your opponent play the game, as well as change the way you. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty much saying the same things over and over again. So let's go over. Crane, have you? Okay, she found the page. Now talk about jury rigging in the original book.
Okay, jury rigging. Astra Militarium Stratagem. Yep, I killed that. Imperial
Stratagem.
Imperial tank jockeys and engine seers have devised a number of improvised mechanical techniques to get their damaged steeds back into the fight. Use this stratagem at the start of your turn. Select an Astra Militarum vehicle from your army. Sorry for butchering words. It cannot move, charge, or pile in this turn, but immediately heals 1 wound. So this involves no swimming whatsoever.
Yep, and the only change to that was to add the following, as GW says, add the following sentence to the stratagem. You can only use the stratagem once per turn. So jury rigging itself is one of the Austro Militarium's stratagems, and she just pretty much read the entire correct thing. The only addition is you can only use it once per turn instead of multiple times per turn. And that can actually be a really big influence because engine seers are like your army mechanics. They're used for making sure that your tanks get buffs and they can get you up in heals and they're a really good unit to have if you have an Austrian military army, and if you have a lot of tanks, which if you Imperial Guard / Austrian Militarum, there is a lot of tanks. So this stratagem I would suggest everyone use because it is a wonderful stratagem and it can get your game going a lot faster, and it can help you if you're a fellow Austrian Militarum player like myself. Now, just take a gander over onto the next page for 135, Take Cover. Go ahead and read the stratagem.
Sometimes the only possible response to overwhelming enemy fire is to hit the dirt and wait for the storm to pass before springing up to unleash an answering volley. Use this stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase. When your opponent selects one of your units as a target, you can add a 1 to saving throws you make for this unit until the end of the phase.
Right. And GW has drastically changed it. Well, maybe not drastically, but definitely has changed this rule up in their following FAQ, saying for Take Cover. Change the rules of this text in the stratagem to read, use this stratagem in your opponent's shooting phase when your opponent selects one of your Austrian Militarum infantry units as a target. You can add 1 to armor saving throws you make for this unit until the end of the phase. That is definitely a change.
Yeah, because they have the word armor saving in there.
Yep. And armor save is a whole lot different than saving.
And they had to add in your Astra Militarium in case you have some other random unit in,
yes.
I guess.
Okay. Well, and let me explain that. There are a lot of... If you look at the...
Mix units, can't you?
Yes. And so I want you to go back earlier into the book.
You mean that part where they don't tell you what edition it is?
No, go back to the profiles. Go back to the profiles that in the earlier pages. Right. And you see what looks the word keywords there?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that means?
Well, from what the other book was saying, those were to help you decide what unit goes with what.
In retrospect, yes, you are correct. There's nothing wrong with that answer. That is a correct answer. Keywords basically determine your allegiances. So you see the word Imperium. What do you think Imperium would mean? I just kind of want to get your rough guesstimate.
I don't know. I think about trading China shops.
No. So in the case of Warhammer 40K...
That's Emporium, sorry.
In the case of Warhammer 40K, Imperium is its own like faction. And so Imperium includes most of the Space Marine chapters, like the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves, the Ultramarines, and all those guys. They also include the Technus Mechanicus and several other key factions, and you're just giving me weird eyes, which also include...
You said Space Wolves, I'm just thinking like Space Wolves.
Oh.
I love all the guys in armor, but I'm just thinking like actual Space Wolves, like cyberkinetic.
There actually are wolves in space, but they do not have cybernetics. But there are their figures aren't impressive, but like in scale, like Space Marines are like 10 feet tall plus, and they're riding wolves bigger than them. And I have to show you some of Russ's models if he ever sends me pictures. But no. And Imperium encompasses all of them. And then keep the book on. And then I'm trying to teach you the basics. And then
I'm listening.
This one says Titanic. Oh, you're lucky. So Titanic is
the ship that killed everyone.
Yes, it did, but no. Titanic is like a group of models. So you have like infantry, super heavy, infantry support, that kind of thing. And that's that keyword. And then you have an army keyword, and then it goes narrower and narrower and narrower as you go. So there is a lot of changes. So if you look at where are you and where's your go to a different profile. Yes, and if you look at those keywords,
vehicle and
Death Strike.
Death Strike.
Yes, so Death Strike is the name of the vehicle, but it's a vehicle, so that's its keyword. But it's a very simple one. So let's go to.
There we go.
Let's go to comment. Yeah, let's go to these guys. What's it say? What's it say for Lord Commissar?
Character, infantry, commissar, Lord Commissar.
Yes, and however, they can be included in any army as long as you have Imperium units, because that's just how it works. And in all honesty, you can attach Empire with Imperium, so you can have Austria Militarum with Space Marines. If in trying to simplify it in the best words possible, you can have a group of Austria Militarum and a group of Space Marines, and you can have them in an army. That is the most basic way to say it without making this a 20-minute expert of what keywords are for 40K.
Basically, it's like mix and match.
Yes, but the keywords also let you know what each is. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's continue going down this FAQ, which actually there isn't a whole lot left, which actually makes me sad.
Which means my distractions are a great way of extending the length of this video.
Actually, no, I have another good reason. Going over into a completely different branch of the GW franchise. Going over to Age of Sigmar. If you could hand me back my books, I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm going to give you this fancy dancy book in return. She saw this book a long time ago because of all the pretty death pictures. And you think death? That's right. I'm talking about the Legions of Nagash, the new book that just released for the death armies earlier this year. Right before the launch of 2nd edition. Or right on the eve of it. And we're going to look at the what changed with the Battle Tome Legions of Nagash for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We're making a slight transition here as we go ahead and talk about it.
Pretty.
Some of these are kind of pointless, so let's go to page 106. Yes, she did look at this book a long time ago just for the pretty pictures, and there are a lot of them.
I think you mailed me the pretty pictures, actually. Via phone.
Oh, yeah, probably.
They were on Vampire Lord. Wait, what, 36?
106.
Okay, yeah, Vampire Lord.
Yep, Vampire Lord. It says Vampire Lord Bloodfest. Go ahead and read Bloodfest.
Okay, Blood Feast?
Yes, Feast. My apologies.
If this model uses this ability, pick a friendly death within 15 inches of it. Models in that unit make 1 extra attack with each of their melee weapons until your next hero phases. That poor guy.
Right. And with the new change, it says add the following sentence to the end of the rule. You can pick the same unit to benefit from this command ability more than once per hero phase.
Does that mean you can kill like half your people and get like 5 more strikes?
Yes, that's pretty much exactly what it means. You could kill off half a unit and get back
a lot of attacks.
Oh, yes, very much so. I mean, I wouldn't suggest doing that, but it doesn't say you can.
I mean, if you have one last opponent to defeat and you got a whale on him pretty badly.
Yeah, I'd do it.
That's probably when you would use it.
Yeah.
4 pawns. 4 pawns.
Okay, now let's go to page 114.
Okay, we have Right King with Baleful Tomb Blade and Right King with Black Axe.
Good, because this concerns both of them. So, Right King, both 4 scrolls, Lord of Bones. Go ahead and read Lord of Bones for both profiles.
I think they're the same from everyone.
Yes, they are.
Lord of Bones. If this model uses this ability, pick a friendly death rattle unit within 18 inches of it. Until your next hero phase, add one of the attack characteristics of that unit's melee weapons. That went completely over my head.
For context, Death Rattle is like the skeletons, kind of that. Like you think skeletons, skeleton horses, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so if this guy's nearby, he can be like, you get one extra attack.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's what that means. For layman's terms.
And it says, add this to the end of the rule. You can pick the same unit to benefit from this command ability more than once per hero phase. Basically, the more right kings you have, the better.
Oh, you can have more than one right king?
Yes, you can have it's recommended you have no more than in my personal opinion, I would bring no more than 3. But you can definitely have more.
Oh, I just figured with the word king in there would be like,
They're a hero choice. They're a hero HQ, and they cost about 140 points. Their points are at the rear of the book.
Like I said, just with the word king, I thought he'd be more exclusive. Like there'd always be like one of them on the battlefield. But I've been wrong always. Just always.
The sad thing is about Legions in the Gash, it's such a new book that there aren't that many rules to it, and now I'm sad. But that's okay. We have more books to go over. Sadly, I don't. And actually, we're going to go over one of my old favorite books, a book that I actually still use. And that is going over the old first edition Grand Alliance Death book. Updated back in August 27th of 2017. So over a year ago when this thing was updated. But let's look at all the rules from then. And if you want to, we can trade out books, or are you just going to enjoy the Legions in the Gash?
We can trade out books.
All right, we can trade out books. You can look at all the old pretty pictures. What dropped?
Oh, a model.
I knew it.
It is this.
Oh, it's my Engineer, the model we were just talking about in our 40K expansion. Perfect. I felt him go between my legs, and I was like, what is that? All right. So let's go to page 8-8. Oh, God.
What page?
Hold on.
We in the right book.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Oh, wow. I can't believe. All right, folks. I'm going to read this straight. 8 through 84. The War Scrolls in this book are no longer used. They have been replaced with the Royal Scrolls in Battle Tome Flesh Eater Courts, Battle Tome Legions in the Gash, and Battle Tome Night Haunt. Pages 85 through 88. These rules are no longer used. Use the most recent core rules instead. Oh my God.
So it was like, screw those rules.
I just can't believe. I mean, it makes sense with the new edition, but I was actually kind of hoping to go through this book. Wow, I am really shocked.
There's a lot of skeletons in the book. And the skeleton dragon.
Oh, yeah, that's in the new book now. It's just their profiles are updated, yeah. Think about this like that old book and then this new book kind of a thing. Wow, that's actually, I wasn't expecting that. I was actually kind of hoping for... Wow, okay. I was actually kind of hoping for something...
It's like came out in 2016.
Oh, yeah, but the official... Wow, that's just crazy. It tells you how much, like, far in advance they really take out the new thing. But let's actually talk about some of the new rules.
I like how you have to be 16 years of age to play this game. Because... the pieces can be dangerous if used incorrectly.
Interesting.
You have to be 16.
So let's talk about the brand new thing I read FAQ that just launched on the 4th, and that is called Warhammer Underworld's Night Vault. And this is a brand new expansion game, I think, that just came out. I'm not entirely sure. what this is, but it's really interesting. I don't have the Night Vault game myself, but we're going to go through some of the Q&As and kind of talk about it a little bit. When a fighter with a move token, charge token, or guard token is taken out of action and returned to the battlefield in the same action phase, do they still have those tokens? Answer, simply no. That is the most straightforward answer I have ever seen from GW. It's like a flat no. It's like, can I do this? No. I've actually never seen that before. That's actually really shocking. All right, let's go over to... Oh, wow. They didn't change the question, but they really extended on the answer for this one. It says, how do games that grant extra actions work? Wait, how do ploys that grant extra actions work? Some ploy cards allow you to make extra actions with your fighters. They can do so in two ways. Either they specify an action or actions, i.e. ready or action or reaction. Play this after you upgrade a fighter. In action phase, wow, there's just so much to unpack here. That is a huge answer. Yeah, I don't want to finish that, and it's not because I don't want to. It's just because that's a lot of info to unpack there. That, and I'm kind of getting sad because kind of the main topic I wanted to talk about is kind of gone now. But you know what? How about we do something really fun here? And I'm going to look up something really fast here because we're going to have some fun. And we're going to do something here.
Figure out what generation, what book belongs to what. I'm just going to be bugging me the entire time.
It's not that hard.
Then how do you tell?
It's not that difficult.
Then how?
It really is.
If it's not that difficult, then tell me how.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, okay, hold on. I need to focus here because I need to kind of think about because I need to finish like games. Was that a bird?
No, that was my phone.
Okay, going to here. And I'm sorry if I'm being silent, everyone. I'm trying to look up a completely new line here for an FAQ. Perfect. And now we have the updated rules reference for Star Wars Legion, which is the new Fantasy Flight game that just came out. So we're officially getting out of the GW ring for a little while. And for our last leg of the stream, we're going to talk about a little bit of Star Wars Legion, a new game that I've been getting into since earlier this year. And I actually have a small army of, and it's actually really enjoyable. But we're going to enjoy some fun. And if you know the game as well as I do, it's really interesting. But we're going to kind of talk about it because not a whole lot of things changed, but it's definitely nicer to have a continuous updated kind of online version that always is self-updating itself. All right, so let's talk about one of the first things you'll find here. And, ooh, this looks important. All right, so area terrain. So we're going to jump right into battlefield placement. And we're going to talk about area terrain. The most common type of terrain on the battlefield, area terrain includes woods, tall grass, rivers, ruined shells of blown out buildings, and that kind of etc. stuff. Area terrain is unique in that it represents a zone of terrain rather than individual objects or pieces of terrain. When determining the size of area terrain, imagine a zone being at the bottom edges of the terrain and extend straight upward to a point parallel with the highest physical feature of the terrain. This creates a three-dimensional, often cylindrical zone that is affected by the area terrain. Any attacks made that fire through or into this zone, even if line of sight is not physically blocked by a feature of this terrain, are subject to the effects of the area terrain. It is easy to determine the boundaries of area terrain if it is mounted on a base of its own, dotted with decorative terrain elements, such as trees. It can be removed to accommodate the movement and placement of minis. Some battlefields are more complex, and this type of terrain is built into the battlefield itself. If players wish to delineate an area of terrain that does not have a clear boundary, they may choose a number of terrain pieces and draw an imaginary line around the outer geometry of those pieces to determine the outer edges of the terrain. Wow.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, that is very much a mouthful. Wow. Basically, they're kind of giving their own unique spin on area, like what terrain does for the game itself. And that's actually really weird because even though it's not unlike how I look at terrain, it's very complexly put. So let me put it in more layman's terms. If I have, say, a 5-inch ruined building like I'm holding in my hand, and it's about 5 inches tall by about 5.5 inches long, and it has some three-dimensional shapes about it, if I have a mini in there and there is a unit that has to have line of sight to see me, there are holes in this, so it does still have a chance to see me, but the terrain gives me cover saves because I'm under cover. And that is something that they do not put there that they really should, is that cover is a big thing in this game. Like barriers, buildings, and that kind of stuff. Even natural terrain like trees and all that stuff can give you cover. And I think that's what they're implying with this. But I myself am not entirely sure.
It was like bulletproof glass.
And you know what? Maybe it can be seen like that.
They can see you, but they just can't hit you like they should.
Right, exactly.
I think bulletproof glass should be called bullet resistance because I think if you shoot enough, it breaks.
Honestly, I don't think you're wrong, but I would not know. All right. Area weapons. Hold on, I need to... So a weapon with a yellow range icon. So in this game, there are weapons that have definitely like range icons, because this game is heavily focused on tokens and iconography like that. So I'm sorry to interject there for reading this rule. It's just I have to point that out. A weapon with a yellow range icon, either 1, 2, 3, or 4, is an area weapon. When using an area weapon, perform a separate attack against each unit that is in line of sight or at the range indicated by the number on the range icon. So I should have you note that for each of these icons, there is a number inside of it, and that'll tell you how far of range. And the game has a very specific ruling measurements and all that kind of stuff that will allow you to easily pick up on what you're actually like trying to, how far of range you're trying to determine to be, which it's very particular at times. Area weapons can be used only through abilities and other game effects that specifically allow the use of area weapons. Area weapons are usually associated with a charge or a condition token. and they're used when the charge or condition token detonates. So in this way, they're talking probably about like mines and other stuff like that, like the game does have, where they can't go off randomly. They have to go off. Like a mine, for example, they can only go off if a unit is within a certain range of said mine. Then the mine will go off, and then they'll have to roll their defense saves and their armor saves and all that stuff. But it is very particular. Attacks made by an area weapons are ranged attacks. Basically, they have, even if it's stationary, they have an X amount of range around them. An area weapon cannot be in the same attack pool as another weapon. Area weapons cannot be added to attack pool during an attack made by a unit. So basically, area weapons can't, like, you can't just throw in an area weapon into your unit's attack. It's just not going to work out like that if you wished it to be. Other weapons cannot be added to the attack pool of an area weapon already in it, including other area weapons. So it's vice versa of the very last rule that I just said. And there are more references in that in the rule book here. Choose additional attack pools. So they give us an explanation of choose additional attack pools, and here it says, after resolving each attack pool, if at any point the attack dice in the attack pool produce at least one hit or one crit result, the attack was ranged and the defender is a trooper, the defender gains a suppression token. Suppression tokens basically just mean you can't perform certain actions. And there's this whole separate rule what suppression is and how it works, but it's pretty much it in a nutshell. You basically just you can't really move anywhere, and you're kind of like you're sort of stuck where you are, and it hinders your unit's abilities in the most manner of sense. And it also says, when an attacking unit forms multiple attack pools, resolving each attack pool is treated as an attack for all gameplay effects and abilities. However, the unit is still considered to have performed only one single attack or attack action, which is interesting, I admit. And basically, it's just saying that your unit is responsible for their attack, and another unit is responsible for another unit's attack, and you're not really going to get much better as time goes on. Like, you're not randomly going to get, like, you can't multiple attack with one unit. Even though you wish you could, you can't. And there are several rules like this throughout the entirety of this this rules reference sheet. There's 57 pages in this book. And sadly, I do not have the effort to go through all 57 pages on my own some. And I don't
exist.
Oh, no, you exist. You were here for a good chunk of the stream. What are you talking about? You definitely exist. No, guys. Like I said at the very beginning of the stream, I am so sorry that there were so many things I wanted to do this evening with my fellow, normal co-hosts that I wasn't able to do tonight. And that is of no fault on them. They are, like I said, under the weather. And I wish them the best of luck with their ailments, whatever is ailing them. And that hopefully next week we can all get together to discuss a whole brand new topic for you guys. And if you guys really want, please Let me know what you guys want to talk about here in the discussion board on the YouTube channel or on the comments of this video, which I will be looking for. So please let me know what you guys want to listen to, or because that's what I'm here for. I'm not only here to entertain myself, I'm here to entertain all of you guys and give some informative and maybe personal opinions on stuff like that, which is apparently what I'm known for a lot, apparently. So anyway, guys, I'm so sorry for how unorthodox this is to the normal meta of what you guys have had lately in the last few live streams. But I want to say good night to everyone. And like I said, I am super sorry about how lackluster it turned out, but circumstances do arise. But I hope you guys are really hyped for next week's episode, because I'm hoping it'll be awesome as always. And so thank you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video. And we'll see you again next week for another episode of Age of Whatmar. All right, guys. Peace out.